Queen's Lead podcast. I'm your host, Amy Singleton, and as a child of the 80s, I'd love to say Queens rule, but they don't. Queens lead. Being a queen means you are worthy to be a leader of people. The guests on our show do exactly that. They are leading the way in their businesses, families, and communities. They're taking their rightful place in the spotlight, leading and inspiring the developing queens in all of us. Welcome to the Queen's Lead podcast. Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of the Queen's Lead podcast. Today, we are so blessed to be joined by Amanda Upton, owner of Paint It Pretty. She's a wife, she's a mom, a business owner, and so much more. Welcome, Amanda.
Hi, thanks for having me. This is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. I feel us vibing already.
I know. I have lots of energy. So
I love it. Me too. Who's Amanda? Tell the audience, who are you?
Well, I am a mom of 3 boys. I'm a wife to Jason, and I am a former school teacher. That's kind of where my business came about. Okay. Should I just go ahead and tell you a little bit about that?
Yeah, tell us about that. I want to know.
So when I first started teaching, I would tutor kids after school, and that just got to be such a pain. I love the kids, but whenever school day was over, I was done with the day. I didn't want to continue tutoring and all of that. So I went back to my roots and started painting things. I just painted random things. It was kind of in the era of like painted Toms. You remember when painted Toms and things like that?
The shoes. Yes.
Okay. Like a decade ago. Yes. So I started there and just started painting different things. And then my friend owns a Showplace Market.
Okay.
And more. And it was right when she's like opened up, and I had a little booth space there. And one day we tried a paint class with kids one afternoon on a Saturday, and it was awesome. And one thing led to another, and I started doing paint classes and painting things, and it just got to be really big. So now I do fundraisers, private parties, open classes, and then I do a ton of custom orders all the time. So I was juggling both, and it just got to be where I couldn't do both. So we had to make a choice. And I guess this is my 3rd year of not teaching. It was right before COVID. So we
had decided, a time. Woohoo, exit.
Yeah, exactly. So we decided, my husband and I, that if we had saved enough money that I could cover like my yearly salary, which, you know, isn't much. So that wasn't very hard to do.
Done.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
Then I could resign from teaching, and then we'd have some sort of cushion in case something happened. Well, something did happen. Uh-oh. And we lost like 90% of our business because I know most of my stuff was like classes that I would teach like 4 or 5 nights a week. And I didn't hardly do any custom orders back then. And we had to pivot. Like we didn't know what to do, you know, like what can we do to make money since I can't do paint classes? So we did like paint kits, you know, because everybody was at home. So we put together paint kits, and then like I would do live videos for them to paint with me. We just did whatever we could. And then I just focused on like custom orders and just pushed that. And now that life's kind of back to normal, I now have both. So I have paint classes and probably about 50 custom orders going at all times. So
wow, nice.
I know it's
pivot.
Crazy.
I know the Friends episode. You did it though without demolishing the couch.
Yes, I know. Gosh, but it was tough. I will say the last 2 years have been super tough. But I'm super passionate about what I do, and my husband supports me 1,000,000%. So it was easy to be able to pivot with him behind me and making a change. So that's just a little bit about me.
Did you teach art?
I did not. I know it's the craziest thing. Like I didn't want to like teach art because I don't want to teach like the history of art, because that's kind of what you have to do if you're an art teacher, like teach the history of all that stuff. I just want to paint all day long. You know, I don't want to, you know, have to teach anybody and that kind of stuff. So I taught I taught 6th grade. I went down to 3rd grade, and then ended up in 1st grade my last 5 years of teaching. So we did a lot of art, but I didn't like, you know, full on teach art as a class.
So you said you went back to your roots of painting and art.
Right.
What happened before you became a teacher and moved
Well,
through to
I'll
art
tell you
again?
a little story. So growing up, we added on to our house, and the extra bedroom just happened to be my bedroom. And as they were putting the sheetrock up and things, I asked my parents not to like texture the walls, just leave them flat, where I could just doodle on it all the time, draw, paint, whatever. And so they allowed me to do that.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know. So when it
That's
would
so
my
rare. I
I
can't
know.
imagine most moms going, yeah, sure, go nuts.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful.
So it was an entire wall of just art and drawing. And my friends would come over and just doodle stuff, write notes. I wish I could have cut it out and kept it forever because it was
Yeah.
precious. And then we moved, and same thing, like I asked them to do, and it was a bigger wall, and it was just so much fun. And I've always had a real steady hand, like painting and everything. And so I don't really know. Life just happened. I went to college and um, started my life and had kids, and life just happened, and I got away from all that. But I just needed an escape, and another way to make some sort of supplement income, and it just kind of blew up. So now we're a
Yeah.
decade in, and here we are. So
Here we are.
yeah.
Wow. So what have some of the biggest challenges been? I mean, obviously COVID was a challenge, and it
Yes.
sounds like you
I
pivoted
mean,
through that really well, but coming from the private sector as a teacher, I came from nursing. So I was
right.
like, business, what? Networking, what? I don't know what to do with this stuff. What
I
was the big
know. I
challenge you
know.
faced coming from that private sector into business ownership?
I don't know. My dad's always been self-employed, so I guess like that side of it has always been part of our family. So it wasn't that big a deal to me to have to do all those things. I kind of saw
Okay.
him have to do like every part of that through his business, and so it was just natural for me to be able to do that for mine. I will say, in the beginning, 10 years ago, Facebook was a completely different game. You didn't have to play a game, really. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you could just post
Oh yeah.
something, everybody saw it. And now it's just a game of what words to use, what not to use, when to post, when not to post. I feel like that's the biggest challenge for me, is to stay current with all of that kind of stuff. Like it's my least favorite part of the job, I will say.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
I
sure.
like the interaction with my customers because, they all interact. It's pretty great. But it's just coming up with all of that and posting pictures and when to post and how it's just a mess. But that's probably my least favorite part and my hardest thing to deal with on a daily basis. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's challenging. It's hard to
Mhm.
wear all of those hats.
It truly is. It truly is. And then like everybody thinks you're available 24/7 and you're not, that's
Yeah.
part of it too. I'm not a robot.
You're not?
I know. I know. Sometimes I feel like they think I am, but yes.
So you host classes. Tell us a little more
Yes.
about Paint It Pretty and what it looks
Okay.
like now after COVID.
Right. So when I first started, I would do Canvas because that was the thing. But my classes were different because I would stencil everything onto the canvas before the class. So you weren't
Okay.
coming in blind and having to follow me step by step. And being a school teacher, everybody learns differently. So I wanted to stay away from like group teaching and having them follow along with me. I wanted to be a more self-paced class. You do you, if you want to change the colors, change the colors. And those little things, like, I think make me unique in the fact that they're able to do that and they don't have to follow the group, I guess.
Yeah.
So everything was already pre-stenciled, and I just walk around the entire class and make sure that you're doing what you need to do, like what the next step is. And if you need help, sometimes I'll just tell you to get out of your seat and I'll sit down and fix it for you. So I'm super hands-on. I love, after you've been to one class, you're like my best friend. I create those connections almost immediately. It's just part of my nature and how I was raised. I don't know. It just comes natural to me to create those bonds instantly. So I think that's just the difference in my classes and other paint classes. It's a more hands-on approach. So if you're having trouble, I'll step in and help you or guide you or give you, direction or whatever. But also in that, I try to push you as far as I think you can go. Like people are like, I can't paint, I can't do that. And I'm there to tell you, yes, you can. You
Yes,
can
you
do
can.
it. Yeah, anybody can do it. If you mess up, we'll just paint over it. It's not a
It's
big deal.
a
Yeah,
happy little accident, like Bob said.
exactly. So
So
that's
do people
just
come to you or do you go to them?
both. So I hold private parties, which is probably about 50%, 60% of my business. 2 or 3 nights a week, I'm doing private events, either at a business or at a home or whatever. And then I hold open classes. I started, my first paint class was at a friend's boutique in Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Oh.
And I still have friends from that class that come paint with me now. A decade later, they still
10 years later, they're still coming back. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yes. It's so crazy. I mean, they just love it as much as I do and created those friendships, and now like they can't stop coming. So I do open classes a few nights a week, a month. Those are a little harder to fill because of course you have to do all the marketing and all of that, and that's sometimes hard to do. And then I do a lot of fundraisers too for different events, mostly like softball and baseball teams or football teams, like that kind of stuff. So cheer squads.
And where is your location?
So I travel. So I just I created a little studio in my home for me to paint here, but I travel to you. So I'm like a mobile paint party. Yes. So I have all the supplies and then I bring them to your location, either at a restaurant, your business, home, wherever. So
gotcha. Okay. So not a brick and mortar.
No,
we're going to have to edit this out. Hold on just a second. My son is home. Oh my gosh. Sorry, team. You're going to need to edit this out. Oh my gosh. I didn't go to the office today because they're about to start renovating over there and it's loud, but 180-pound Great Dane, 2 teenage boys.
You're fine. You
can edit.
Exactly. Life.
Okay. Life. Exactly. Like whatever. We're moms, we're dog moms.
Exactly.
Business owners, all those things. Maybe don't edit that out. Okay, people.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe let's just keep this shit real.
I'm making faces in the video while you're doing your thing.
Exactly. I try to get everyone to like do like the Anchorman. So we can have really good outtakes.
Right.
Anyway, so you travel to the location of where everybody wants.
Now I have a teenager at the door.
Oh, nice. Come on in, kid.
I know, right? Hey, pal. You're okay. I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay.
Mom life. It's fine.
Exactly.
We got this. That's so funny. And so talk about, now you said when you first started, you were on canvases. Is that what you're typically painting on now again? Or are these wood
because
things we can hang?
Tangents. Okay. So so I started that and then I don't remember. I want to say it was like 7 years ago. We did one paint class. It was for Christmas. Doing stockings, like wooden stockings to hang on your front door. And we did that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. Like screw the canvas, I want to do the door hangers. And really back then nobody was doing that, and so it was kind of nice and it was a huge hit and every class would fill up and we do lots of different things. And then it became where I was doing a little bit of both, and then I switched to just all wood. I'll do canvases for like kids' birthday parties and stuff, but I don't do any canvas anymore for paint classes. It's strictly wood.
Give the people what they want. We want to hang stuff, cute stuff on our doors.
Exactly. You only have a little bit of wall space to hang crazy canvases. So
exactly. And so like I'm sure like as it changes monthly, it's going by the season just ahead of time so that we can have something fresh every time.
I know that's a hard part too, is like staying, 2 seasons ahead of everybody else. Like I'm already on Christmas in my head and we're just now getting to summer. So trying to stay ahead of the trends and figuring out what those trends are and that kind of stuff. So it's a whole different world. It's not just painting.
For
all
sure.
the things. There's so much more to it, but I enjoy it and it's my passion. So
So
It's
you
not
do
really
do
work.
you do all this on your own, or have you had to hire some team members over the years?
I do. I would love to hire somebody, but I'm kind of a control freak. And since I've built this from the ground up, it's kind of hard to let any of that go. Sometimes I'll hire my kids, my older ones, to help do things, and I pay them by the hour, but they don't really enjoy it. So it's not really fun.
Yeah.
They
Well, do
kind of
you
make
have
it, go ahead.
you're good. Do you have aspirations to to grow this and maybe have additional locations or
I
maybe
do.
franchise or something like that?
Again, like it's just hard for me to let go of that control because I've had 100% control throughout the
Yeah.
years. My husband helps a lot behind the scenes, like he does all the shipping for me and different things like that that I really hate to do. He'll do that for me. But as far as hiring somebody, I would love to. It's just I need to let go of some things.
That's
But
more of
what
therapy session than
yes,
anything else
it's
for
like
us, isn't it?
yeah, I know, right? It's more of just I don't know, it's my baby, and so it's hard to give any of that control over to somebody else. But yeah,
For
I'm
sure.
at that stage where it's like I have to hire somebody or I'm not going to grow anymore. Like
Yeah, you've
I'm just
only got
at
so
that
many
point.
hours and
Yes,
two
yeah,
hands.
exactly. You're exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you told me a little about a nonprofit you were involved with just before
Mhm.
COVID, and unfortunately it's been kind of shut down since then. But tell us
Right.
about the Sparrow Project and what that serves.
So the Sparrow Project is for special needs kids that have graduated high school and still want to participate in the things that kind of like they did in high school: cooking classes, exercise classes, painting classes. They do all kinds of stuff every week. There's something new. And I was involved in the painting class portion of it, and we would do different things each month with them. I think it's like a group of 20 to 25 each month, and they range from like 18 to 30-year olds. And
Uh-huh.
again, kids are a passion of mine as well. So it was fun to be able to participate in that and help them and get to know them and all of that. So I do miss that for sure. But that's through they're located in Moore, and they I think they strictly work with like more public school graduates, alumni. So
Okay. And so what was your involvement with them? Painting a painting class?
yeah, each month we would do a painting class on Fridays, and it was so much fun. We just had a blast, and it was just things that they could, be successful at. But I was also there to help and guide and do all that. So it's
Yeah.
super fun organization to be a part of, and met a ton of friends, and still friends with them today. So yeah,
That's such a need for those students who
yes,
were involved.
absolutely.
There's not a whole lot for them to be
Mhm.
involved in after that.
Right, right. You're
So to
exactly right.
be a part of that, it must have been very fulfilling.
Yeah, it truly was, truly was.
Yeah. So what else? What else do you want the world to know about Amanda?
I don't know. I don't know. I just thought it would be fun to share my story with everybody, and um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. This is the
That's
part. Like I'm just like I don't know what to say.
all right.
Yeah.
Talk about
I really.
tell us about your teaching career and kind
So
of
I
how fulfilling that was, and really what there's a lot of talk here lately, and I mean,
right,
it may
right.
be unpopular, but let's just call it out. Teachers are unhappy.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that was part of the problem too. You go to school every day and see your friends, and everybody's just so blah. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
to make it through another day. And the negativity was just overwhelming. And that's not who I am. So it was really hard to go to school every day and listen to everybody complain about everything that's going on and still try to stay happy. But kids definitely are my passion. I love teaching kids, being around kids. That's my jam. But being in that setting where I had a boss and, so much paperwork, and just the hoops you have to jump through for kids that need, more attention or different needs to be met and things like that. There's a lot behind the scenes that go on there too that isn't fun. And it was an easy choice for me to get out of that profession just because the pay is just not worth what you put into it,
Yeah.
and it steals your joy for sure. It truly does. Being in that environment and that negativity and that kind of stuff, because everybody's there to be with the kids. I mean, basically. And when you're not, that's not at the forefront anymore, it's hard on a daily basis to get through that. So it definitely helped my mental wellness to get out of that profession. But I do miss the kids. And so I enjoy like doing birthday parties and things like that. Paint
You said
classes.
you
So
mentioned the kids not being at the forefront. What has happened in our education system that has caused that to be pushed to the back burner, do you think?
I don't know. I think it's just all turned into political stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. Everybody's trying to, I don't know. I really do not know. We can't please the parents. I think that's where the shift happened when, schools became afraid of parents basically, and took the parents' side over the teacher's side in certain situations. And I think that's where we're losing everything. There's no backing when it comes to your support system in a school. So
was that a change that you saw from the beginning of your career to the end?
Absolutely.
Probably the biggest change.
I 100%. Yes. The fact that everything is the teacher's fault and parents aren't willing to take responsibility for their kids' actions is a huge part of the problem. Yeah. Like there's, it gets to the point where you're like, why do I even call home anymore? They're just going to blame me or have an excuse for their kids. So I don't know. I think technology has a lot to do with it too. They become the babysitter and there's not a lot of parent kid involvement anymore. So I feel like that's part of the problem. They're being raised by technology and not their parents, and the parents are just a friend. And so they don't want to take responsibility for their kids' actions. And that's really frustrating when you call home to talk to a parent about a kid and they're not willing to accept it. So yeah,
I can't imagine.
And then your principal takes the parent side, or let's not make them upset because they'll cause a problem with the administration and call the news or whatever. So I think that's where where it all breaks down, is the parents taking control of the situation. So
those are things we don't think about in the public. Right. I see it from the outside and think, well, it's politics or about money or the number of days they're in the class or all of these things or statistics and tests, but I never really thought about it coming from the other side on the parents.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's on them and nobody's doing anything about it. They're just continuing to let technology raise their kids, and there's not that bond with the parent and the kid anymore, and they're just not taking responsibility for their actions. So which is completely different than how we raise our kids. So and I think I'm probably over the top because that's the situation we're in, and I want my kids to know that you're responsible for everything you say and do. That's on you. That's not on me. That's not on your teacher. That's on you. So
we have to talk to our kids and have those hard conversations at home. We're probably way too open and forward with our children being teenagers and grown adults, but I need to say the things that weren't said to me, and I need to say the things that were said to me that aren't being said to the younger generation right now.
I agree with that 100%. Absolutely. Yeah, it's different. And it's sad to see it happen. Like just in the last decade of me teaching, it just totally flip-flopped, and it's not okay. So they just have too much control. And if they want that much control, they should homeschool their kids. Basically.
Want the control without the responsibility.
That's exactly right. They want to tell us what to do. And, we went to school and to be a teacher, and I feel like they just don't see it as that. I don't know. It's just so weird how teachers are perceived these days. Whenever I was a kid, like I wanted to be a teacher because they were like the top of the top of, what you wanted to be when you grew up was a teacher. Like that was it. And now it's not the case, and it's sad. So
I hate to see the burnout, but I'm so glad you escaped.
I am too. Yeah. And I live my best life every day. I mean, there's always setbacks and things, but when you do what you love, it's not work, and it's not as bad to have to deal with because you love it. So I mean, there's times where I have customers who aren't the easiest to deal with, and I just think of it as a challenge to make them happy. Let's see what I can do to make them happy. So yeah, that's a fun part to me too, is kind of break that ice and make them my friends and not be so, I don't know, hard around the edges. So
Yeah. What do you say to that teacher, nurse, person stuck in a corporate or government job that wants to do something else but doesn't know where to start?
oh, that's a tough one too. I know, like I have this conversations with family members that are teachers and things like that, and I'm just like, find your passion, find something that you like to do. You can't just. I feel like, well, you probably could, but you can't quit something and then go chase something else. You got to kind of do both and see if that's really what you want to do, and just try it a small scale. And a lot of people, they do have different dreams and aspirations to do different things, but I don't know. I think society also has this cookie cutter box that we all need to live in. And if you're not willing to step outside that box, you're definitely not going to be able to do anything else. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the hard truth of the matter. Like, you just have to be bold and brave to step outside that box. So
Yeah,
and
100%.
that's totally me.
Yeah, me too.
And I did. I'm kind of a wild one. I like to do things that are not the norm. So I don't like being told what to do.
Right. I can imagine that kind of ties into that teacher role as well, because there's been a lot of conversations recently about, increasing the college enrollment rates of Oklahoma and this, and a lot of people don't see that as necessary. I think we need to increase our VOTEC enrollment rates
Girl,
and our
yes.
business and, business startup and rate and things like that, because it's not for everyone.
You're exactly right. And that's funny you say that, because our oldest, who will be a senior, is going to the VOTEC in the fall for electrician work. And like, he already has his whole life planned out. Like, he's going to do that. He's going to start his own business, and we are here for it. Like, growing up, both my husband and I, that our parents weren't like that. It was, you're going to college, you're going to do this, just continuing to stay in that tiny little box of what, they think you should be as an adult. And they didn't support anything we wanted to do that was outside that box. So, my husband's, he's super funny. He wanted to be a comedian, and his mom told him he wasn't that funny. So that killed his dream. And she may have not even meant it like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But that killed his dream. So I think we probably go, and it's same for me. Like, I wanted to be an interior decorator. Like, that was where my passion was at the time. And my parents like, absolutely not. You can't make any money doing that. You have to be a school teacher. Like, that's what you've wanted to be since you were, second grade. Like, you're doing that. And so I did it. And of course I love the kids, but it wasn't where my heart was. You know what I mean? Like, I love the kids, but it wasn't my passion. But with our personal kids, like, we probably go above and beyond that. Like, we'll support whatever you want to do, whatever your little heart desires. We are here for it. So
heck yeah.
And he doesn't want to go to college. He wants to do this. We'll see what happens. He may go and may hate it and decide to go to college, but I'm like, that's the joy of trying things out and finding your niche, basically. So anyway, and our mid kid, who's 14, thinks he's going to be a rock star. Like, he's legit awesome at the guitar, and
all right,
we're just here for it. I mean, live your best life, basically, is how our motto here at this house. So.
Me too. Oh man, get it. That's the only way to raise them. I love it.
Right. Yeah.
100%. Well, I'm so happy that you decided to get on the show today. Thank you so much.
Me too.
I'm looking at your artwork.
Yes, girl.
Show off that tattoo, girl. Oh, that's gorgeous.
And then I just got the inside done over the winter.
Okay, how hard was that? I'm not there.
It sucked really, really bad. I did 2 sessions. I did the outline work, and then he was like, "Hey, you want to do the color?" And I was like, "Absolutely not," because the color, I feel like they scrape your
it's worse.
It's awful. Yes. So I had to go back for the second session for that. But this one over here, like, mermaids are my kind of my jam. So I mermaid there. And then this mermaid in the middle, which is kind of hard to see with all this stuff going on.
No,
But you know how most people do, like they have their kids' names on their wrist or whatever. And I was like, I can't do that. That's not me. That's like in the box what people do.
Right.
I have to do something different. So of course I did a mermaid, and inside the mermaid are different items that represent different people in our family. So like there's a paintbrush for me. Robin, who our youngest son is named after. Let's see what else. There's a Batman symbol. So, oh, yep, because our mid kid was obsessed with Batman at the time. Boba Fett helmet for my husband. Star Wars. Just different things that represent our family at the time.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's just my take on writing your kid's name on your wrist.
Yeah. Think outside the box. Oh my gosh. I love the mermaid tattoo. How'd you get into mermaids?
I don't really know. I guess because they're so elusive. I don't know. And magical, and it's just kind of my jam. So when I was teaching, you know, I would get so many gifts, mermaid gifts and things from my kids in class because they knew that was my jam. So I miss that kind of stuff, just having that connection with the kids, stuff that I love. And they'd wear like a mermaid shirt, like, look what I have on today, you know. So I do miss that kind of stuff. But
did you keep some of the little things from over the years?
Oh, I keep everything. I keep everything.
Aww,
so and I mean, now I don't know what came from who or whatever, but there are a few things that I'm like, oh, that I remember who gave it to me and stuff. So yes, that's me every day, all day long. So.
I love it. Well, tell the guests where they can find you if they want to have a class or participate in a class or get something custom made from Paint It Pretty.
Yeah. So you can find me at on Facebook at Paint It Pretty, and Instagram too. And then my website is paintitpretty.net. So and you can there's a link there. Yeah, there's a link there where you can ask questions and things like that. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Amanda. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
Thank you for what you're giving back to this community and what you're doing for your clients. And thank you for being a queen that leads.
Aw, thank you for having me. It was so much fun.